This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the LD Micro Invitational 2015 in Bel Air, California. I have with me Mr. Phil Hartstein from Finjan, FNJN. It's a publicly traded company. Phil, welcome to SNNLive.
Great, thanks Shelley. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with you and at the LD Micro Invitational.
It's good to have you. Let's get right into it. Let's get an overview on Finjan.
Finjan's approaching 20 years in the software and network security space. Today we recognize that as cybersecurity. Originally in a software and hardware business, we sold that off in 2008, and in that interim period we continued licensing our intellectual property. Today we've generated more than $150 million in returns there. We're just about ready to embark back into technology and services to go deeper into the cyber vertical.
Well, you probably started in the business when most people, you were just a thought and nobody realized what cybersecurity was. And then a couple of big names got hacked and all of a sudden cybersecurity became equal to homeland security. So you want to tell me, what happened in Finjan after that happened?
It's a fair point. Cybersecurity today is a buzzword, and really what we're talking about is protecting data as it exists and lives and is very much alive in corporate networks and on the internet. And Finjan, what it developed initially in the mid-90s was a disruptive technology focused on identifying the behaviors of content and code across a network. So less, if you will, virus protection, which is more reactive, and more of a proactive solution. So our technology, while disruptive, was the basis for the products that we sold. Today, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a modern cybersecurity, again with the buzzword, architecture that doesn't use behavior-based threat detection technologies. So very much alive and well, protected by the intellectual property that the company invested in. And that's today very much a significant part of our monetization, of our licensing and enforcement revenues.
So you're an IP company, technically, really.
Yeah, it's an evolution story. Originally a product and technology company for about a 3-year period beginning in 2005. We ran both businesses. We licensed our IP and we sold products. We spun out that hardware business in 2008, at which point, yes, you're right. Principally IP licensing company. And recently we had an exclusion upon that sale from the 2008 transaction where we couldn't compete in the security space. And as of March, that's expired. So we're very much back in technology development. We're focused on security, really protecting consumer data and privacy on mobile platform. And we're proud to announce that on June 15th, we're going to be launching a premium cyber risk advisory services that's going to be tailored towards boardroom and governance issues, and also with the technical requirements and components that can go back into the server room to do penetration testing and other sort of solutions like that.
You know, it seems appropriate. It's because you really have to be hands-on in the industry. You have to consult with these. And by the way, I'm talking about the technical people inside of the corporate America that need solutions. So I see the fit.
You see that a lot today. In the United States and around the world, there are different standards about how cyber risks are reported, attacks, penetrations. In the United States, the standard is that once there is an attack, that you have to report it, whether or not you know what has happened. As we've seen with any number of companies, most recently the IRS was hacked, but use Target as an example. There was a real question about fiduciary responsibility at the board level about whether or not there was an incident response plan in place. Was there any liability at the board level for that attack happening? How it was managed, how long it took to inform and notify customers. And I think that really had a lot of eyes and a lot of attention on it. And as we all know, there was a $10 million settlement in that, really to reduce that board's liability. And I'm not sure that that's a great mechanism or a great example to look at board governance issues. I think there needs to be a real plan, real deep understanding at the board level for what data does exist in their networks, while it is in their network, how it's being protected. And that's really where we think there's a new opportunity.
Well, interestingly enough, and I have to add, it's a public relations nightmare for a lot of these companies. So I think what you're offering is prevention rather than a reaction. Am I correct?
Yes, it really does start with education. I think every public company, being a public company now, having gone through compliance and governance issues, you know what your obligations are. You have audit committees, you have compensation committees. These are areas of specialty interest that have evolved. And I think that, understanding cyber risks is going to be a new committee requirement. That would be my ultimate expectation. And I think that's the right thing for the investing public. So I do think that we're moving in that direction, but it starts with education, you're right. Board members need to know what the risks are, need to know how the company will respond, needs to understand what the liability is. And I'll put a fine tip point on that. I was at the White House Summit on Cybersecurity, and President Obama was bringing together leadership from the Silicon Valley. So we were happy to be there as part of a delegation of CEOs. And one of the most profound things I took away from that, when asked how much are companies spending on security, how focused are they on putting new systems in place to get around cyber risks or to better manage them, the answer unilaterally across sectors was, we're not talking about monitoring incremental spend. If you can imagine what it would cost to buy back consumer trust if we did not manage that appropriately. So I think we really are looking at a more evolved thinking of potentially how detrimental the loss of trust can be to any business.
2016 should be very interesting for you. You want to comment on the future of Finjan?
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. So 2015, I think, starting this year is an exciting time for us. We have a lot of licensing and enforcement going on in the intellectual property portfolio that dates back all the way to our pioneering inventions. So there's some excitement there. We've invested in a venture fund JVP that's performing very nicely. We're back in security application development, which I think you'll also see in 2015, as well as the services business. So I think 2015 is going to be an exciting year. 2016, I think, is going to be equally exciting in that you'll see each of those businesses continue to develop and produce returns. And also, I think, potentially the opportunity to, again, consider using the public equity for inorganic growth opportunities through M&A.
Phil, let's get a website out there for our viewer audience.
That'd be great. Finjan.com, Finjan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Hartstein, Finjan. Symbol FNJN. It's a publicly traded company. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive. We're coming to you live from the LD Micro Invitational 2015, Bel Air, California. Phil, thanks for coming on.
Shelley,
SNN
thanks.
Live.
Appreciate the opportunity.
You got it.